what he had to say. And I'm referring, of course, to the man who just walked out, Michael Hayes. And I do want to talk to Michael because he has had some profound changes in his life recently, and I think that all of you would do well to bear in mind what he has to say.
Gordon, a lot of people's wondered what's happened to Michael Hayes in the last 6 weeks. A lot of people's wondered what happened to the fabulous Freebirds, and maybe that would be a nice place to start. You know, I don't know if there's one significant thing. I don't know if there's one thing you could put your finger on. I still ain't quite sure I understand it. But nevertheless, I think something had to do with maybe the last match with the Andersons and the Omni. Ole Anderson sold me out flatter than a dog. And Terry, man, Terry and I have been down so many roads together. And we had, I mean, I couldn't go into the times we had together, man. I mean, you couldn't write a book about it. You couldn't make a movie about it. I mean, the times we got stuck on the mountain in the snow in Chattanooga in the blizzard, it goes on and on. 4 years, brother, side by side, and you walked right out on me. Now, when the ship was sinking, the captain went down with the ship, but Terry walked out on me. It blew my mind, Gordon Soley. I'm here to tell you it blew my mind. So I said, well, I'm going to pack my bags, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to get my act together. And I went home, and I thought, well, I'm just going to be cool, and I'm going to lay out and see all my friends. I figured they're going to have a little bit of sympathy for Michael Hayes. Well, you know, I went to a good friend's house, Gordon Soley. Boy, his name's Frumpy. You know, he got that long hair and a beard. That's why we call him Frumpy. And we were celebrating America's birthday on July 4th, and it started at 2, and it was on about midnight. And everybody was feeling just about right. And now, wait a minute. The boy come up to me, and he looked me straight in the eye. And this boy's like 5'10", and when somebody looks you in the eyes and they got something to say, they say it to you. You know what they're talking about. And he said to me, he said, no, we've been friends a long time. I've known you a long time, since you was just a kid. And he said, I know you've always been cocky, and I know you like to dress flashy and be fancy. He said, that's fine, because that's you. He said, but I think you forgot something that's very, very important. He said, you forgot where you came from. He said, you forgot that you started down here, and before you became big time, that you was right here with the rest of us. And he said, if you think for 1 minute that I am the only person that can relate to Freebird, he said, you're crazy, because there's a whole bunch of us right here at this party. He said, when you were up there, we felt like a part of us was up there. Just a little incentive that maybe the little man can make it big. And that blew me away. I had to leave the party. I said, I can't handle this. And the last thing, man, I was packing my bags leaving town. I said goodbye to my mother. Me and my old lady got in the car, and my little brother come out to me. He's 13 years old. 13 years old, Gordon Soley. Both me and him ain't never been raised by no daddy. We never had no daddy, and then don't get me wrong, I ain't complaining. My mama did a fine job. But I always wanted my brother to come up right. And I always thought that I gave him the right kind of advice. He come up to me, he said, you know, Michael, he said, you've been an inspiration to me. He said, I've always looked up to you because you made it. And he said, you've always told me what to do to make it. He said, but I got to tell you something. He said, you told me go out and get what I want. He said, I can see you're sitting home right now, and you're telling everybody that you're happy and you're fine sitting on this beach, but it's a lie. Because you want to be right back up there in Atlanta, Georgia, doing your thing like you should. Now, he said, now how am I supposed to go on if you won't practice what you preach? Well, let me tell you something, Roy. Let me send this special message out to my little brother, because right now he's in Sarasota. He's playing for the 13-year-old Pensacola All-Stars in the state championship. You get out there and you play your butt off, boy. You do whatever it takes to win. Because if you need somebody to follow, if you need somebody for guidance, you got him. That's me. That's right, that's me. Because, hey, well, let me tell you something. Now, the kids have to have direction, man. If the kids don't have direction, where are they going to go? And I've done everything. I have done everything possible that a man could do, and I can't come out here and say that I didn't mean to do it. But I can say one thing. I can try to rectify what I have done. And as far as anybody's concerned, I got just as much right to be here as anybody. I got just as much right to be here. So let me put it plain, and let me put it sweet. Fans Fantasia is alive and well, and it's back in Atlanta to raise some hell.
Well, there you have it. Obviously, quite a change of heart, quite a change of philosophy. And this young man still very brash, but as I said...
Hey, I cannot express what it felt when my little brother came up and said that to me. I mean, hey, he ain't never had a daddy. If I don't set an example, who's going to do it?
Whoa! And you mean the right example?
I'm mean the right example. Now, you know the Freebird song. It said, Lord knows I can't change, but I can make things get right, Gordon Soley. I've made my mind up. And as you know, anytime Michael Hayes has ever promised something, no matter what it was, he delivered. And I'm promising you this.
Thank you so very much.
On Georgia Championship Wrestling was the one between Steve O and Ted DiBiase, a tag team event against the current Georgia tag team champions, Terry Gordy, the former Freebird, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. To add to the excitement and the action, Michael Hayes was on hand the day this occurred, and his presence was certainly known before this match was over. Not only his voice during it with Gordon Soley, but his appearance before this match ended. So I think you'll find that with Steve O and Ted DiBiase and suddenly Michael Hayes appearing on the scene, and Gordy and Superfly Snuka, who accepted this challenge earlier in the program, they were taunted and challenged by DiBiase and Steve O to wrestle on this day. Here's what happens when Steve O and Ted DiBiase meet Terry Gordy and Superfly Snuka. Ladies and gentlemen, this special attraction tag team event, one fall with a 15-minute time limit. One fall 15 from Edina, Minnesota, the national heavyweight wrestling champion at 235 pounds. Here's Steve O. Steve O. His partner from Omaha, Nebraska at 246 pounds, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase. Their opponents are the Georgia Tag Team Champions from the Fiji Islands at 245 pounds, Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Jimmy Snuka. And his partner from Chattanooga at 270 pounds, the former Freebird, Terry Gordy. Terry Gordy. One fall, 15.
One fall, a 15-minute time limit, and it's Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka moving out against Ted DiBiase and Steve-O.
Freddie Miller got that right when he said former.
That was the voice of Michael Hayes, and of course I appreciate the fact that Michael Hayes did not allow a situation to be created here at the desk.
Well, no, it's just the fact that I come out here just to say something that I had on my mind that I wanted to express. Mainly, I hope my little brother, the message got to him. But I ain't got, it's not my business. That's why I didn't mess with the terror, and that's why if they had the interview, then I'll let them have it.
Fair enough. DiBiase locks up now, collar and elbow with Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Gets a side headlock. Snuka right down, beautiful hip hop takedown by DiBiase. Al DiBiase and Steve-O wanted this match, and Terry Gordy and Snuka said they didn't have any competition. They found it now, that's for sure. Tag is made. Terry Gordy moves in, and DiBiase was set and ready.
You know something about Terry, though? You look at him, as big as he is, he's got to be one of the fastest men in the ring for his size, Gordon Soley.
No question about that. Beautiful shoulder smash by Gordy. That time, however, DiBiase was set and ready for him, kept his beautiful arm drag takedown, and Gordy's back to the canvas. Tag is made, and Steve-O moves in. Arm drag and twist now on Terry Gordy. And Steve-O, wasting no time in punishing Gordy, now makes the tag with DiBiase. So they've got their teamwork down, I think, exceptionally well.
Yeah, you got to admit, ain't no lying. If you're lying, you're dying. The boys have definitely been tagging up and been, checking this stuff out. It looks good. Whether it's going to win the match, that's another thing.
Yeah,
it's like anything, Gordon. The thing ain't over till the three count comes down, till the last out is made, or till the last tick of the clock.
Wow, Gordy exploded with a right hand that staggered Steve-O. Catches him with another hard right hand to the top of the head, and Steve-O in trouble now as Terry Gordy unleashes those right hands like bombs.
Aggressiveness.
And And Snuka has that same kind of aggressiveness. Now rips across the face of Steve-O, and again uses that forearm and the fist, and Steve-O in trouble now. Fires to the midsection. Snuka retaliates, one to the side of the head. A chop into the chest, and Steve-O would be well served to get over and tag up with DiBiase. They're double teaming, and they have Steve-O in trouble on those ropes now. Referee warning Snuka now to go back outside the ring into his own corner.
He looks in trouble, Gordon Foley.
Snuka. And
now, this is the part of a match that I particularly like. It's when you take in a good whooping and you got to get it all down from inside and come back. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you can't do that, in my opinion, you ain't nobody. I mean, I ain't never been one to hold my opinion back. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, point by Michael Hayes, and it is Steve-O still in trouble and still needs to get over there and tag up if he can. Snuka makes the tag and is out there against Steve-O. Steve-O, good reversal.
He hung in there. He hung in.
Makes the tag with Ted DiBiase, and DiBiase, thoroughly enraged, comes charging into the ring. Catches Terry Gordy in a beautiful flying drop kick that has Snuka back to the canvas once again. And Ted DiBiase. That adrenaline is really flowing now as he crashes down.
The thing can change. Just how quick the thing can change. It's why your man has got to be on the match 100% of the time.
Certainly no question about that.
I'm thinking 2 steps ahead. At least that's the way I always thought, and it always seemed to work.
DiBiase keeping the arm bar on the Superfly Snuka. Terry Gordy on the outside of the ring, and Steve-O getting a much-needed respite in his own corner, and the crowd now chanting for a good fireman carry takedown by DiBiase. Has Snuka back to the canvas.
The thing that DiBiase do here, in my opinion, is to wear down Snuka just like they did Steve-O. So you give Steve-O a rest like he's trying to do and wear down one man. It's when the tag gets in and out when it's hard.
Snuka trying to drive over to tag up. Makes the tag with Terry Gordy. And it's Gordy and Snuka both double teaming here before the count.
Tell you what, when that big boy hits you, you know it.
DiBiase just found out as Gordy caught him coming off the ropes. And DiBiase trying to regain his feet. And Gordy catches him again. Another blistering right hand.
Now, see, that's all well and good, a beautiful right hand, but while he's sitting here going crazy, he could have done pinned the man. These are some of the things we went over before.
DiBiase driven into the boot of Superfly Snuka now. Catching him on the break. Several punches into the rib cage as Terry Gordy held on, and DiBiase in trouble now. DiBiase snapped mare to the canvas to a rear chin lock. And Snuka.
Look at them muscles bulging. You tell me he ain't grabbing on that chin.
He is indeed, and it's DiBiase in a lot of trouble now as Snuka continues to apply more and more pressure.
Big crowd here at 17 today, don't you, Gordon?
Very excited crowd, I might add, too, as you can hear them chanting now for DiBiase. They're, and DiBiase in more and more trouble now.
You know, Gordon, I don't mean to divert from the subject, but, you know, I was talking about my little brother. He's an excellent athlete. I don't mean to brag on him, but just 2 weeks ago in the district championships in Tallahassee, he pitched a no-hitter.
Well, that is an accomplishment indeed, and it's DiBiase trying to break his way free. Snuka and Gordy both double teaming on him now. It's Gordy with a snap mare and then drives that fist into the head again.
I see you notice that the polished wrestler will stay on the same hold. You see he's staying on the same hold because it don't make a bit of sense to start working on a man's leg then go to the arm. Why'd you start working on the leg in the first place? They're working on the neck, and that's what they're going for because that's where the breathing comes from.
Terry Gordy has DiBiase to the canvas, and in a lot of trouble here is DiBiase trying desperately to bring in more oxygen into the system.
This is where you got to come from with thunder, Gordon Solie. I don't know if he'll do it now, but I have seen DiBiase do it before.
DiBiase using that elbow effectively now to the midsection. Terry Gordy smashes away again. And it's starting to be a pair sixer here as the tag is made. Snuka moves into the ring.
No, that's the way I like it, though. That's the way I like it.
DiBiase driven back into the corner now. Snuka. Hard right hand to the side of the jaw. Catches him flush on the jaw that time. DiBiase reverses that situation. DiBiase drops down the canvas, trying to get over to make the tag with Steve-O.
Now you see where that great training and Snuka's body comes in with his endurance in a match like this.
And Steve-O, tiring of these double-team tactics, tried to break it up, and it is Gordy crashing into...
That could be it, man. That could be it, baby. That could be...
No, sir. DiBiase reached way down deep that time. Came away from a pinning combination.
Now, see there, he's thinking. You've got to think. There we go. That's how I like it. Go, boys. That's how I like it, Gordon.
The slugfest between the two of them. Belly to back play by Ted DiBiase has Terry Gordy in trouble. Gordy staggered by that one. Stunned and coming up very slowly, and so is Ted DiBiase.
Gordon, they all got to be in good shape, because anybody that knows a physical contest knows that when you get nervous, that takes half your win. And a championship match is going to make anybody nervous.
Good high backdrop by Steve-O, and a completely revitalized Steve-O back in the ring. Got Snuka on the outside, and now it is...
That could be it now. See, Terry's wind is gone. He's at a much vulnerable position right now than he was at the beginning of the match. He made to the rope. Big man, baby. Big man, I know.
Well, he is indeed. He had that sleeper hold on. Steve-O brings him up. That's got to be 270-some-odd pounds. Good full body slam, and as Snuka started to charge in, DiBiase broke it up, and now it is Gordy catching Steve-O, and Steve-O brought in up behind his man. Good move. Ooh. Snuka caught him. Snuka caught him coming off the...
They're working on the teamwork.
Gordy trying to set him with a
Power driver, Gordon Soley.
He was blocked beautifully by Steve-O. Brought him up again for the pile driver.
He's going to block it. Right on the back of the neck.
Made the tag. He made the tag, and Ted DiBiase is in there.
Yeah, but Steve-O's hurt, baby.
Ted DiBiase catches Snuka. Beautiful flying drop kick, and it is... DiBiase arm-whipping Snuka into Gordy, and now concentrating on Gordy. Steve-O hurt and outside the ring.
Whoa!
DiBiase.
Oh, I heard that back here.
Smashing their heads together, and DiBiase now has Snuka coming off the rope.
He's cooking. He is cooking. Look out.
They caught DiBiase from behind, double team. Steve-O still out of action outside the ring. And it's Terry Gordy now beginning to punish Ted DiBiase. Gordy now has DiBiase in that corner and in a lot of trouble. DiBiase needs to tag up, but unfortunately Steve-O not in any position after that pile driver to come back into that ring at this moment, that's for sure. And Gordy brings him up. A reverse power slam by Terry Gordy has DiBiase in even more trouble. Gordy brings him up, another body slam. The tag is made with Snuka. Snuka going up. It was Michael Hayes breaking that up, and now into Terry Gordy. Michael Hayes broke it up with Jimmy Snuka, the referee calling for the bell. The match has been stopped. And Michael Hayes, after Snuka and Gordy, Hayes took his shot, took his time. Terry Gordy up and outside the ring, and we've got complete chaos and bedlam here. Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka. And they are declared winners by virtue of the interference of one Michael Hayes. But obviously Michael Hayes had something on his mind and had to do it. And he was driven by an inner force that I'm sure superseded any thought of his own safety when he saw what was about to happen with Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And Michael Hayes has left the scene. Well, he cost He cost DiBiase and Steve O the match from the standpoint that they were disqualified for outside interference. Nonetheless, he may have averted some possible serious injury to Ted DiBiase, and certainly that's something that has to be taken into consideration.
And I had a chance to talk to him about his travels, so if you will, right now, we'll switch back to Florida and my comments with Dusty. I had a chance to catch Dusty Rhodes in the middle of a workout, and, of course, he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I wanted to take a couple of moments to talk to him about the fact that since winning the title, he has obviously had to pick up Harley Race's commitments and to travel all over, and, boy, you have been traveling.
Well, Gordon, it's travel, you know, it's something Dusty Rhodes really digs, you know, I like it, you know, because as a kid growing up, I never believed, as everybody knows, that I would ever be traveling anywhere but Austin, Texas, you know yourself, Gordon, the great commentator that you are, nationwide known, Gordon, solely recognized all over the world, the #1 wrestler and the #1 sports commentator in the world, is now with Dusty Rhodes on most of his interviews, who is a new, and not new anymore. I mean, the week went by and they said, well, Dusty Rhodes, after a week, he's going to lose the title. Somebody else going to have it. But now we made all eyes out. I'm in Dusty Rhodes, still World Heavyweight Champion. The Harley Race is home for the summer. Dusty Rhodes traveling throughout the country. I just come back from Aruba and Curacao and Caracas, Venezuela, and Bayfront Center, Columbus, Georgia, and Columbus, Ohio, and there's a lot of great athletes out there. Bruiser Brody and Ken Patera. I don't know how great people they are, but they're all great athletes. And Dusty Rhodes and Tommy Riches and the Funks and the Ric Flairs. There's a lot of people after this thing that I got, and it makes it real interesting knowing that I got something they want, you know. Before they wanted my hide, you know, and they never could get it all, but they took some skins off of it, as you know. And I had ladies kiss it back and make it well, because that's what it's all about. You know, because ladies love outlaws, you know that? So Dusty Rhodes is the World Heavyweight Champion, and traveling is part of it. But as long as I can get on a Learjet or a limousine and in the air condition, as long as I can keep working out like I am now, I've lost 15 pounds, you know, and you just see the people that get sick, but I just went through a grueling workout here with one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, one of the greatest amateurs in the world, and Mr. Dan Gable and myself were just working out, and I got a few tricks up my sleeve.
You know, Gordon Sully, there's a whole lot going on around the Georgia area now. There's some good things, and there's some bad things. First of all, I'd like to talk about the good things. You know, we've held these titles for about 3 weeks now. And we've been on the go, Gordon Sully, for 3 solid weeks, defending these titles every night. But now, Gordon Sully, in comes the bad thing. You know, we're running out of competition. We can't get nobody to put their name on that contract because they're too scared.
Wait a minute.
Terry Gordy.
Wait a minute. I know a team that's here today that would certainly love to take you two on.
Well, who is that, Gordy?
Ted DiBiase and Steve O.
Ted DiBiase. Gordon, hey, that's who we won these titles from. Why do we have to go back and... What do you mean, Ted DiBiase and Steve O?
They'd love to wrestle you two.
Hey, we only are here for one reason. We are here to wrestle the best. Because I think we are the best. We should have been the world champions today. Because that's how we feel. We feel like a killing instinct, and that's what we like. We like to hurt people. We want the best because we are the best. You bring the greatest in here to wrestle myself and my man over here. Because we think we are the greatest there is around the country. You name it, brother, you're looking at it.
Well, I'm sure that Steve O and Ted DiBiase would be more than happy to wrestle you two, perhaps right here today.
My man said it all right there. We should be world champions today. But the world champions are scared to come to Georgia and face Superfly and Gordy. But baby, any competition, Gordon Sully, we'll take on, and we'll be more than glad to do it. The score is, for yours truly, Will, it's Bruiser Brody 2, Mulligan 0. Tell him, that's 2 times in a row for you, Cowboy Mulligan. That's 2 times in a row, Mulligan. Let me tell you something. I don't care if it's 15 times. I'm going to beat you. And you may think you're real smart. I'm not afraid to put my name on no Texas street fight with you or no other man. But remember something, Mulligan. I may not know how to wrestle, and I may stink, and I may look bad, just like everybody says. But when it's over, you'll know that I know how to fight. I'm going to cram your big fat face inside this garbage can. And I ain't going to do it with no headlock. Anything goes. Cry when you want to cry to that referee. Let me tell you something. I don't mind. I don't mind you hitting me with a table. I don't mind. But, brother, when it comes time for you to take yours, stand up and take it, because I'm going to give it to you right out the front door. You got it, Mulligan?
Well, I'm sure everybody understood that gentleman. There's the bell, and it is George Wells and Bruno Sammartino Jr. going up against Brian St. John and Iron Mike Sharp. Sharp out of Canada, St. John out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.